So good morning again. So I finished the previous video regarding symbolic language in kind of like a typical disdain and disgust of the human species, because that's what I feel, and I didn't actually tell you. So what is the meaning of the this duality of like upside down? So again, this was discussed a lot in the past, even mostly before this channel was even existed, because this relates to an issue that was very prominent in the inquiry into the symbolic language with regards to inclusions and exclusions of groups, like the language group theory. And it was very early subject. It was discussed in Facebook even 3 years ago, I think, or certainly 2 years ago. Certainly, when I started painting, it was one of the first topics when I started painting 2 years ago. Some people might assume that the meaning is that this should be destroyed. Like maybe following the Hebrew verb hafach, a pei kaf hafach, which means to turn, or to turn upside down, or to turn into. It's an ancient language, so every word means many things, and it was already like that 3,000 years ago, and certainly today. And it also means to be destroyed. Like famously, in the case of Yuna and Ninveh, 30 yom and Ninveh, the city of Ninveh nefechet, which means that that the city will be destroyed or become upside down. So, and this, of course, this might be supported. This kind of interpretation might be supported. If you just watch the walls of this room in the last 2 weeks or so, again with the upside down the paintings of Israel, the land of Israel. So no, it's not exactly like that, even though it correlates very well with that. So if that's what you gathered, it's close enough. In practice, yes, but no, it's not what it means, because generally, in the space opera, in the space opera genre, there is not much communication. There is much more communication with the microscopic robots. But of course, it was built over a year of inquiry into the symbolic language from the perspective of the starships. But it's the same language, but different context. And because the fleet, again, as I've said in the previous video, the purpose now is not from my perspective to decipher an ancient tome of arcane knowledge, and it's not even to gain access to unlock secrets of the secrets of the universe, even though you do discover all sorts of interesting things regarding the universe along the way. And in the future, when you have more time, you hear the belt, and the chain. The belt is a known trigger. It's used to scare the Titans. So, because the robots are very scared of the chains. These are the pedophile creeps that I live among. I'm incarcerated in this place by court order. So, where have we been? So, and it's not. So maybe I would want to gain access to all sort of arcane knowledge, but it's not. In the last 2 years, this is not the context. The context was, again, to establish practical communication between me and the starship, and later between me and the robots, the microscopic robots. So I can tell them, please destroy the Earth, please kill all humans, please, increase the amount of radioactive isotopes in the surface of Mars. Please please allow entrance of Titans into the platforms like of Venus, like practical stuff. Like like day-to-day things. Like it's not too philosophical or scientific. It's like that mostly just actions that are required. That for practical cooperation that is needed like in day-to-day life. Just practical stuff like create the Full Metal Jacket wasp, create the bicycle bacteria, kill all humans, create like electrolysis like in the water like in Mars. So H2O, frozen H2O will turn to H2O2. To increase oxygen. Practical things that are absolutely required. So with regards to the Titanomachy series and all the related paintings, the main related ones, it's not that complicated. It's mostly, just destroy whatever you see it's in the painting. It's like they are not here like to give you like bonuses. They are not here to like they are not Santa Claus like that will give you gifts. They are here to destroy, to kill, to annihilate. Otherwise, why do you think that so many ships are needed? What for? For what? And these ships are it's not like a USS Enterprise or I don't know what. It's 99% weapon. At least 99% weapon. Yes, they do live. They are sentient creatures and they have living quarters with amenities and everything that they need. But all of that is tiny fraction. Because not much is needed. Even if you live like a king, like every crew member lives like a king and queen, still, just a fraction of the beast that you see in front of your eyes, and the larger ones that I don't know if you already see. So it's 90% weapon, 99% weapon. Why? So why it's there, and why it's on location? It's there to eliminate the germs. And also the paintings themselves. Itself. It's kind of like for ideas. It's not. It's pretty mimetic, and the maps of Israel. The artistic maps of Israel are also pretty mimetic in in destruction. In graves. So the issue of the opposite direction is with regards to inclusion and exclusion. Generally, destruction command is not applicable while I am included in the group. The group can be either an abstract group of entities like people or a planet or piece of land, even though they don't like to deal with too much a small thing. They mostly like to start the Navy just they prefer to deal with moons and above, planets, moons, but not they don't all the the flags and the borders and the small lines that they can barely detect all the lines, small lines in the atlas. So they mostly like to deal with the planets and above. But this is also two planets. Generally, in order to destroy the to radiate the Earth is not applicable if I'm inside, I am on Earth. Now there are ways to actually to say it only applied if I am on Earth, like the opposite. And if you, and it's not done by just by hanging two paintings like in the opposite direction, because how can you know that it's opposite direction? Again, this is space opera. How can you determine? And even if it wasn't space opera, how? And this was also discussed in the past. It's very interesting actually. It was discussed like during February and in March, that my estimation is that regarding the source of, I mean, the birthplace of the Neros, that at first they were created in a situation like in a physical realm where light was not yet in existence. I mean, they predate light, and also that their intuition is that the source, when light exists, and light is important for them, even though they predate light, still important for them. And their intuition is that the main source of light is coming from the same direction of the main source of gravitational pull, which is the opposite of the human intuition, that dictates that the main source of gravitational pull is from below, and this is actually what defines below. Otherwise, how can you tell what's above and what's below? I mean, so you define down by, I mean, like the gravitational pull, and you define up just in the opposite of down. And you expect light to come from not from down, but from above you. And this is also true, I mean, after people like invented, you know, artificial lights. I mean, still, I mean, most of, like, not all, but most of, I mean, you know, lamps are hanging on the ceiling, mostly. And of course, above, and people expect light generally to come from above. And certainly it was like that throughout, like, you know, the human prehistory, that, I mean, the sun and the stars and, you know, the moon were the only sources of light. Not the only ones, but I mean, by far the most important ones. And so so for the Neos, actually, it's not like that. They expect like down, like, I mean, as defined as like in the gravitational pull, to be also the place where most light comes from, in case light exists, like in a situation that there is light. And this suggests somehow, I mean, kind of like, I mean, physical realm. First of all, it can be said, I mean, this can just mean that they were created on a star, not a planet, which makes sense. But I'm not, I mean, let's not get into it. It's an interesting subject, but let's keep it like as a side note for now. Just, I mean, all of that is to say that, I mean, down and up and below and above is kind of like, I mean, it's not that trivial, like, to be defined. So, but so the way to actually say, I mean, yes, applied, I mean, this radiation, but only if I am on the group or on the planet, as opposed to, like, I mean, the default, which means applied only if I'm not there, is not by just making it both like paintings, because you need two, at least two. So not by, I mean, just, I mean, painting it, I mean, the both like upside down, because then, I mean, how can they tell that it's actually upside down? Maybe just like that. So this is done using colors. And the issue of like light over the dark and dark over light. Over dark over bright and bright over dark. But if you hang them in the opposite direction, this is, I mean, the fact that it's painted in the opposite direction, I mean, either way you look at it, it doesn't really matter, I mean, what's the correct like orientation or what's the default one. One is the opposite to the other. It means that this applies whether I'm on the planet or not on the planet. So this is the meaning. Which means destroy the earth and destroy Israel, whether it doesn't matter if I'm in Israel or outside of Israel, or in Earth or outside of Earth. Either way, radiated and destroyed completely. So you ask, I mean, but what will happen to you and your daughters? I mean, don't you fear for your life and for the life of your daughters? So don't worry, it will be fine.